learn how to have patience, and not just with the client, but in your everyday routine. The patience is what calms the most of the situations down because you can't react badly. You got to react calmly. So patience is the one thing I would encourage.
Welcome back to another installment of the Next Gen Case Study series. On this episode today, we have Abidel Bassie Cripps, who is also known as Abby, and she is the business owner of TechAssist.ca, a company dedicated to providing expert and personalized tech support solutions. With over 3 decades of experience in the IT industry, Abby combines her passion for technology and helping people to solve various computer issues for individuals and businesses alike, which is why we are excited to have her on the show. Welcome to the program, Abby.
Thank you. And I appreciate being here. Thank you.
So to get things started here, I'd love to get from you a quick little history on who you are, where you came from, and how you ended up starting Tech Assist.
Wow, that is a cute little story. The 80s, computers started coming into the home, and my dad was going after a computer job at his work. And my brother and I kept getting his hand-me-down computers. We'd play with them, make them better, play with them again. And it got to the 90s and all this effort that I did, it would became like second nature. And it was a light bulb goes on that I already had started the idea of helping people and their devices so that they can enjoy it instead of having any stress related to it. But I didn't see it as a career only because tech shops don't want to hire somebody that deals with the client as well.
Mm.
So I ended up in trucking. I'm a logistics individual as well. But when I retired from that in 2015, I was sitting around. I don't want to be a couch potato. What am I going to do? Light bulb. I'll do my passion full time, and it's been a joy ever since.
That sounds like quite the journey to get there, and I relate to it in that I remember growing up as some of this technology was being released. So I was pre-computers. We still had to go to libraries and use the old card system to find information if we wanted to know something. And it slowly was introduced. But the thing was, is that all the older people around me were, I guess, less prone or less apt to explore and break things and figure it all out and come out on the other side successful. So that was very much my journey as well, and I love that that kind of drove you to be a part of that industry in some way, and that it was part of your passion. So fast forward, we you launched Tech Assist and you kind of, in the thick of it. I'd love to get kind of a bird's eye view of, what's your day to day look like? What's some of the stuff that you get up to now that you're the business owner?
Well, I ended up doing it as the most tech shops do, where you're focused on the local people and a little bit beyond. And the idea is you can get to them or they can get to you. And then COVID hit, and I was doing everything about computers. But the COVID hit, my business dropped. So I reevaluated what I was doing and realized that I can do it all online. I can do the repairs. I coach when it comes to repairs. I coach the client through the process. When it comes to software maintenance, I end up doing what I call a tune-up for computers. And like a car gets a tune-up, well, I'm doing the best for the computer. And it's really a good package for business individuals that rely on their computer daily. And so it morphed into a lot of different areas, a lot of different examples I could give of what I can handle or take care of for a client. It's basically I can do education, I can do the software maintenance, I can do security. The security in my version is I block the hackers, not where I monitor when a hacker gets in. So and deal with them then. I deal with stopping them, and uh, that's just a different approach, and it works good for me, and it's worked good for a lot of my clients. The same thing. So there's a lot I can do.
It sounds like a lot of the focus is on being proactive in your efforts to help first safeguard the user, but then also
Yep,
to avoid potential issues in the future as they continue that use of the technology. Is that about right?
that's right. That is accurate. Yes.
So
Proactive. Yes.
So then you have a pretty diverse, I guess we'll call it audience of people that you can serve. I wonder if you could walk me through what it looks like for that audience of people perhaps to find you first of all, and then once they do find you, what do you do to kind of bring them into your atmosphere or into your ecosystem to make them a client?
Oh, that's a question I've never been asked before, and I can deal with that. Um, the common client is a businesswoman over 40, the avatar. But I've had young people that didn't learn about security in school. I've got elderly folk that want to keep in touch with the family. Um, there's quite a diverse aspect of clientele. I actually have a resort as a client, and we set them up with a system so that each unit gets the same internet. And instead of, and secure, and instead of piecemealing internet together, I got them with a clean, clear system. So I hope that answers most of the question.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty clear. And I'm curious now then a- as you kind of work with these people that need your services, what kind of tools and technologies are you deploying to make your job easier and make their lives easier?
Mm. Well, that kind of gets into the security aspect. I always encourage a proper antivirus, a proper VPN, a virtual private network,
Hmm.
and I also recommend a separate router from the modem because I can change the security in the modem, but the provider every month does their check and they'll put it back to their way. So it has to be a separate router where I can set up the security and then they can go forward having relief that they're being proactive. Um, so that's pretty much that.
So I imagine that y- having uh an abundance of clients and people that you can serve, they stay with you for a long time because these are very valuable and useful tools and technologies for them. How do you manage those ongoing relationships with people outside of, the typical like customer service calls where somebody has a complaint? I'm sure that there's things that you do to go above and beyond.
Oh, yes. I always go above and beyond in the first place. And so I don't get calls, Abby, your system's not working. I get, Abby, there's what can you do to tweak it so it works again? I don't get the complaints because of my patience, my ability to work through their stress so that they realize they don't need to be stressed in the end. So when they call me back, they're not stressed. They're giving me the details. I work on the issue and everything's resolved. Um, So, and how many calls do I get like that? Very little, very little. Most of my clients are happy. I've got a lot of uh, uh, testimonials, and they all end up in some way referring to me as heavenly, whether I'm their tech angel or their computer angel, whatever. That that's been happening for years. And so with this networking, uh, I go onto groups like CIBN and WPN and other groups. And in those groups, I use this persona because it's recognizable
Right.
and it's like, oh yeah, Abby can do the tech. It gets them realizing that I can deal with their issue. Um, and I think that answers that.
Yeah, it sounds to me like the brand and your reputation have really served you in the networks and the communities that you're involved in, and that's um, one of the less common, I guess, methodologies in terms of acquiring new customers because it poses some challenges like scaling. It takes having an individual to have those individual conversations, and that's not something that can be easily duplicated, especially to match your charisma and personality. I wonder,
Yeah.
what challenges does that pose in your business in terms of keeping things streamlined?
Well, streamline is a matter of what a person wants to consider. For example, 25% of my work is paperwork. 25% of my time is actually doing work online. 25% of my time is doing networking. And so I've got more room to add in to wherever it's needed. And that gives me the ability to plug somebody in. Like just before this call, I have a client calling me in a panic, and I'll be dealing with her after this call because of that available 25%.
Right. Wow, that's a very ingenious way of solving that challenge for sure. So I'm curious then, as you continue to kind of grow the business and take on new clients, what sorts of milestones or key points of interest are you using to kind of measure your success?
Well, the main part of what I do to measure my success is having 5-star reviews on Google and elsewhere. Um, the fact that everybody has been satisfied, um, you know, even if they don't do a testimonial, they've been very satisfied, and that gives me a gratification that I've done a good job. So the measurement is not precise, but it is very evident in the results.
Yeah, that it's such a nuanced thing to uh discover how satisfied, if the satisfaction is there for the customers that you serve, because having those feedback loops created inside of the way that you serve your customers can sometimes be tricky. But it sounds like you kind of got your finger on the pulse of the group of people that you're serving, and that's so important, I think, and contributes significantly to your success as you continue to grow the business. I wonder, what are some of your future goals? Where are you headed in terms of what you want to accomplish in the future?
Um, I want to accomplish getting people to do the same thing I do in collaboration with me. So I do want to expand and have staff learn from me the way I handle the clients in the first place, so that therefore I won't get a complaint. So hiring staff so I can expand the business more is good. It's going to lead to more streamlining of my paperwork. It's going to lead to more effort to do networking. Networking is not the sole way I get clients. It's the aftermath of somebody say, okay, somebody was happy, and they spread the word to their friends and family, and that's really where the majority of my business comes from. Being seen is a big part of that, which is why I go on to the different networking groups. And follow-ups are also important to keep the communication going. Follow-ups have to be done with whether it's from a network group or whether it's from my client base.
Hmm.
Uh, sometimes it's a matter of giving them a reminder that I'm here to help. And sometimes I'll talk about security, depends on what their needs are. And so there's a lot of opportunity for my business to grow.
That sounds exciting. There's a lot on the horizon coming coming your way, and I love that for you. Are there any upcoming trends or things that you're kind of noticing in the industry that get you excited?
Well, AI has always been around, but in small bits here and there.
Hmm.
But now with the development that it's got now, I can see the AI getting to the point where it can do phone calls, it can do the chat bots, it can do the emails all for me. That is in the very near future, or even already exists. Um, that is phenomenal, but I don't see it as a takeover,
Hmm.
because the AI can't do what I do, and that's to help calm the person and get them to realize, okay, for example, I've had many people come to me thinking, Abby, I got a virus, help. And in reality, the computer was just confused because they use the internet.
Whoa.
And so a lot of the uh, AI is going to reduce some of those things, but there's still going to be the time where I've got to clean up the computer. AI can't do that at this time.
Right. Yeah, the that personal touch, the human element is super important, especially in this day and age after, in a post-COVID world where we're all feeling the effects of being forced into the virtual world to interact. And we all, I think, have some level of yearning for that human connection again. And so that I don't think I think you're on like spot on in your assessment that that won't change. And the idea that leveraging these tools and the sooner you get into it, the better you're going to be in the long run. I also think that that's a really incredible insight because a lot of people are reluctant to try these things and they're afraid or maybe even misinformed in some cases about how the technology works and how you can deploy it for yourself and for your business. So yeah, really, really, really cool trends, really cool foresight into the industry there. Um, You've been very generous with your time, Abby, and for that I am very grateful. And everybody listening and watching, I'm sure, is also going to be very thankful for the insight that you've shared so far. To kind of close things off here, I'd love to leave on a high note, and I want to ask you this: if you had one single piece of advice for somebody that's in a similar role as you, exploring some of these technologies and looking to optimize their marketing and sales and lead gen. What would that one piece of advice be, Abby?
Wow. Learn how to have patience, and not just with the client, but in your everyday routine. The patience is what calms the most of the situations down because you can't react badly. You got to react calmly. So patience is the one thing I would encourage. There's many things I'd encourage, but that would be the one.
Yeah, that one's a huge one and one I personally relate to. I have a 10-year-old son, and over the last decade, it's one thing that I really had to get good at was being patient. So it's a very valuable tool for you to have in your arsenal. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, Abby, to pick your brain further or perhaps work with you, how would one go about doing that?
Well, they can go to my website, tech-assist.ca, and go to the contact page and pick 30 free minutes on my calendar, which is on the contact page. And that's a great way to start.
That's yeah, that personal touch right there, right off the bat. I love that, Abby. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And just for anybody that's listening and watching, if you wanted to get in touch with me or my team for any reason, it's you can visit nextgengrowth.com. Otherwise, that's it for this episode, and I will see you in the next.